The following program is rated TV-17, containing bad language.
You got knocked the fuck out, man!
Sexual situations.
Like you to take your pants off instead.
Nudity.
Sure.
And graphic depictions of nut-crunching dick kicks.
Oh, I just had to kick in the diddly again.
Parental discretion is advised.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Ronin Joe Show, episode 15. Tonight, Nerd Wars. I don't know why I call it that. It's just I see a lot of nerds talking about a lot of nerd stuff, and that's fine. But we're going to get into the thing that's separating nerdom. Predator, Badlands, the Backlash, the Cope, whatever you want to talk about. It is coming out. It is going crazy. We're going to talk about it and a few other things, a few other nerdy things. We're going to get into it tonight on the Ronin Joe Show. Let's roll. Yes, sir, it is the Ronin Joe Show. I am back here, ready to rock, ready to talk to my favorite people in the chat. As always, great to see a lot of the faces that are in here. Let's say hi to them. Why wait? Let's get going here. Mark Penguin, the new Predator looks horrible, he says. He's jumping in with a hot take. I like that. We're going to actually talk about that, and we're going to see. But you, my friend, are number one in the chat, are number one in my heart. That makes you...
You're number one.
Yes, you are, my friend. Yes, you are. Hail the Lore's coming in as well. Great to see you, brother. Thank you for being here. We got Twisted Dreams in the house. Says, did you... Oh, yeah, I know. I forgot you kept telling me to read that. I have not. I haven't read it yet. I own it. I bought it when it first came out. I haven't read it. One of these days I will, and I'll let you know. I'll give you a review. But, you know, when Twisted Dreams is here, we do play this.
Subject notes. The extraction theory papers. Am I the only one who did the research?
Most likely you are. Doug Bacon's in the house. The amazing drawing of the Punisher. Classic costume. If you didn't see that, I'm assuming it's on Instagram, but I saw it on X. Everybody go check that out, brother. Welcome to the show. Hope you are doing well. Timescales. What's going on, man? In a second. Hope you are doing well as well. YSA is in the house. Says, let's go. I agree with that. Let's get this on. Let's do go. We got member of the channel, Sheldon Martin, in the house. Time to talk about it. Let's talk about it. You know that it feels so good to have the members in the channel, as we do in the chat every night. Thank you for being here. And we are going to jump into some nerd stuff. I like it. What else is there to talk about on a Sunday night? I would say the Predator thing, I think, is the funnest thing I've seen hit the web. Well, there's more people upset about that, I'd say, than everyone upset that Shedeur Sanders didn't get drafted into the 5th round, which I think is hilarious. You know, the normal race hustlers are out there. You know, it's a black thing, right? Competent black man can't be drafted in the 1st round, even though they've done that for the last 4 years. And how many ever years the NFL has been there. But that's a different topic for a different day. Shout out to Shedeur going to the Browns. I'm sure you'll be fine over there. You do your thing. I think it's hilarious. All right, we're going to move on. Let's go. Oh, okay. Duck Bake. Oh, what are you saying? What are you giving me? Oh, you're welcome, my friend. Yes, absolutely, dude. I want all the talented people here in the chat to get recognized when you are here. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of great artists and creators that come in here and jump in and have an awesome time. All right, let's jump into this. Let's go. Let's kill the music. Kill the music. Kill the music. All right. We're going to get rolling here. I hope everybody is doing good on a Sunday. I got to tell you a little bit about my weekend. This weekend, yesterday. Yeah, we're Sunday. Yeah. Yesterday was the first day of my daughter's softball league. Now, it was cold as hell. I got to say, I feel bad for the girls. It was like high 40s. Wind was crazy, but they were out there. They're doing their thing. They're learning how to play, running around the bases. You know, I'm an assistant to assistant coach. So I'm just out there. I'm giving encouragement, you know, helping every once in a while. I just got to give a shout out to my daughter and her team, the Pink Flamingos, for doing such a great job on their opening game and just gutting through the cold and just having a good time and doing their thing. We have another game tomorrow, which will be much warmer. And I can't wait, but just shout out to all the girls out there doing their thing and all the coaches as well. That was a hell of a fun time. And then I cleaned out my basement and took a bunch of the junk to the side of the road because it is spring cleanup, which is, you know, it's needed. I need to do. It's needed. We got to get it done, and it's done. So it's been a busy weekend for me. So I'm happy to sit here and chill and talk about some interesting things. I'm interested to see what you guys think about the Predator, though, because I know I mentioned a couple things online. I got a little pushback. A couple people agreeing with me, a couple people that didn't agree with me. You always get the people who want to jump in and try to school you on the Predator because they're, you know, experts because they read the comic or something and they know all the lore and blah, blah, blah. You can't have an opinion that's different from theirs. But we're going to dive into that here in just a second. But you know what I haven't done in a while? I have not started the show off with something funny. I've just dove into topics real quick lately. And I've kind of lost that whole, like, find something funny. Let's ease into the night. Well, I was on X today, and I saw this. And I got to say, if I can get this. Oh, no. It's not letting me. It is not letting me do this for some reason. Okay. I'm going to have to remove that. Too many things up here. Add this. Okay, here we go. I saw this on X, and you know, I'm a musician. I was in a band. I have respect for people that can play instruments and sing and do all that kind of stuff. And I saw this, and yeah, thank you. Go Flamingos. Yes, it was awesome. Shout out to those girls, 6 years old, 5 and 6 years old, doing their thing. It's so fun to watch them run around and learn the sport for the first time and really get out there, gain confidence. So that was a highlight of my weekend. I had a blast. I can't wait for tomorrow. So this guy, all right, this is the most talented dude I've ever seen in my life. He's playing, what's he playing? He's got a guitar. He's got a, what is that? What is that standard? I don't even know what he's playing, but let's check it out because this is impressive, guys. Yeah. Rhythm, timing. Oh, you hear that? Hear that time change? The time change? Lyrics. What are you guys thinking? You thinking this is potential? This guy's got some. He's gonna go somewhere. Oh. Yes. I'm telling you, all you need is a little bit of talent. A little bit of talent, and you'll go a long, long ways. Look at this guy. Don't ever let anybody tell you can't reach a dream when you see people out there doing that. You know what I'm saying? That should be the example for you to get on that bike and ride. You take your talent, you take it to the highest places. You go out there, you want to be just like this man right here. I'm telling you guys, don't ever give up on your dreams when that is out there. We got pizza in the house. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Hail to you. Yeah, I gotta say, that made me laugh, and I needed some laughs every once in a while just to see that. A shout out to him. He's doing his thing. He's trying his best. He's getting some attention. Just gave him some attention right there. There you go. By the way, guys, wherever you're watching this, please hit the like button. Share it out. Let people know that we're live. Come over to the YouTube channel. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Help us grow the channel, and you can do that by commenting after the show. Comment on our shorts, comment on our segments that we put out there. Help us hit the algorithm and bring the show to more people and to grow it. Let's get more subs. Let's go. Let's get this show going, this channel going. We got lots of great content on here, including the Spawn review on Mondays, Otten Stuff on Thursdays, and Ronin Joe here on Sundays. By the way, Ronin Joe, I'm going to be moving to 8 o'clock next Sunday. It's just I got to work with my schedule. It's a lot different now. And it's going to be the time slot that works the best for me on Sundays. So hopefully you can still join me at 8 o'clock on Sunday next week as we go through probably the summer, and then maybe I'll switch it back after that. But, it is what it is. We gotta get things going for the family. All right. Before we jump into The Predator, I don't know if there's any horror fans out there like me, but I've been keeping track of a couple movies that are coming down the wire. Scream 7. That we've talked about. I'm looking forward to that. But they dropped the trailer for I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, how many people remember when I Know What You Did Last Summer came out in the 90s? I was a teenager. I went and saw both movies in the theater. This was back when the craze of the slasher movies were coming back around. It was kickstarted by Scream came out, and then I Know What You Did Last Summer came out as well. It just what happened? Urban Legend. There was a whole bunch of movies right in a row that came out and kind of revived the whole slasher horror movie in the 90s. And it was pretty fun. As a teenager coming up, seeing this stuff, it was good stuff, Hey, Rick Saylor, what's going on, man? So what's up, everybody? What's up with you, man? Good to see you. Horror movies are often one-week wonders at the box office, but Ryan Coogler's Sinners is definitely the odds and proven to be a true event in cinema. I saw that. Oh, I didn't see the movie, but I did see that that is doing very, very well. Like what, 160 million or something like that over the weekend. I gotta check it out. I've seen a couple previews for it. I didn't think it looked all that great at first, but it's been getting a lot of hype, so maybe I'll definitely check it out. Could wait until it hits streaming too, but shout out to them. I'm all about it. Yeah, I hope you're doing well, man. Long time no talk. We gotta get together sometime soon. Have a phone call. Here we go. I know what you did last summer. I was a huge fan of the first movie. The second movie was it wasn't that great, but I like the concept and they bring back some of the originals. And I mean, if you're gonna start a trailer, what better way to start the trailer? So let's check this out. Oh, let me unmute.
Okay?
There we go.
Why don't you go upstairs and do that guided meditation you like?
Yeah, go upstairs and get more comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Find a peaceful setting and close your eyes. Imagine a white light calling you.
Hello?
Now,
Nice.
feel that love entering your body.
Oh yeah, something's entering the body. I don't know if it's love. Depends on what you're into.
Emanating out from your chest. Take a deep breath in and remember the energy you give to the universe. Always.
I gotta say they show a ton in this trailer, and this has got to be like a lot of the opening scene of the movie, or at least I'm assuming it is. But they're pretty much showing the entire opening movie in this trailer, which whatever. Yeah, people bitch all the time about them showing too much stuff in the trailer. It doesn't really bother me too much because I'll forget the trailer by the time I go see the movie, and it's not really going to affect it that much.
Comes back to you.
Oh, there it is. There's the classic shot. Again, this was an underrated horror movie, slasher horror movie in the 90s. Again, the first one was good. It was well done, great soundtrack. The second one was, it was kind of a cash grab. It didn't do all that well. The story wasn't all that good. But the fisherman, to me, the visual is very iconic, especially with that hook, this up shot every time he drops the hook and everything. It was cool that they went back and revisited this just to let everybody know we're back into the I Know What You Did Last Summer universe again. And just it's a killer look, man. It's a very killer look.
Do you think this is some kind of karma for what we did?
Yes, it is.
What if someone saw what happened?
Okay, so basically it's a soft reboot, right? They're going over the same story. Because, I mean, with a movie like this, it has to be. A group of teenagers, you do something the summer before, usually involves killing somebody, covering up the death, and now all your sins are coming back to haunt you. It's a cool concept. I like it. It's probably better for a one-off movie. But, it's a slasher movie. You're going to make multiple movies of this. That's just the way it goes. So you kind of got to just get into the fact that we're just going to go over the same old story again. And now what's going to happen? Is it going to be interesting kills? Is it going to be fun story? Is it going to be some twists and turns? I don't know. We're going to find out. We got Zig Comics in the house. What's going on, brother?
You need to handle this. This isn't the first time there's been violence like this in Southport.
Oh, looking
it's not
old.
Going to stop.
Like it.
I need to start drinking. Someone is coming after us.
Oh, yeah.
I need your help.
Here it is. Okay. Let me back this up. I'm excited to see Jennifer Love Hewitt again. Yeah, she's not the same. She's not the same look, right, as the original movies. All right, I mean, she was hot back in the day. Let's not lie or beat around the bush. You know what I'm saying? She was absolutely gorgeous back in the 90s. She's aged pretty well, right? She's someone that doesn't look like she's gotten like facial plastic surgery or anything like that, and I respect that. Age gracefully, go into, I don't even know how old she is. I mean, I can't imagine she's that much older. I mean, it's what, late 40s, maybe 50 at the most. Somebody look it up in the chat. I'm actually kind of curious now how old she is, but I think she looks good. I'm glad that she's back. Freddie Prinze Jr. as well. Look, we're all getting older. That's one thing I have to realize about myself too. I'm 43. It happens, but shout out. I'm glad that she's back. I'm glad the original cast is back. And again, natural beauty. I still think she looks good.
I just have one question. What did you do last summer?
That was a way better angle of her, though, by the way.
This place is so beautiful. It makes me want to die.
That's called foreshadowing, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know, man. I think this looks good. It's probably not going to be anything Shakespearean. You know, it's probably not going to be anything special. It's going to be just what it is. But as far as slashers go, let's go. Why not? You know, sometimes you just need those fun movies that you don't need to think about much. You just go, you watch them, you sit back, you watch people get killed. There's something about slasher movies, psychological, whatever it is. Something about seeing people get killed. I don't know what it is, but people get excited about that stuff. Slashers are very fun. I've enjoyed slashers since I was a kid. Going back to obviously Scream, but going back farther, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, all those movies, classic. I love them. So anytime they're coming up with new slasher movies, as long as it's not crazy cheesy, like what the fuck is that new one that's out that everyone loves that I can't stand? Is it the Terrifier? Is that what it is with Art the Clown? Some people really like it. To me, that's just glorified like gore porn. You know, I want something that's a little bit more than just like it's just okay. You sit back and you see as much gore as you can get. I get it. Whatever, people like it. I like something that's a little bit more sophisticated, which sounds funny when you're talking about slashers, when you use the word sophisticated, but it's a little bit of a step up from gore porn and a little bit more of a fun story. Who is it that just said they thought it looked like a rip? Oh, okay. Duck Bacon. There you are. Looks like it's ripping off Scream. The funny thing about I Know What You Did Last Summer, it came out right after Scream in 1997, I believe. And it was written by the same guy that wrote Scream. So it was the same kind of formula, right? Same writer, you know, that's fine. You know, there's not too much you can really do with slashers, in my opinion. We were all hot back in the 90s, except for Zayd. Oh, damn. Yeah, he was, I don't even think he was born yet. Those guys are still hot. Oh, there you go. See, compliments. I like it all the way around. It looks good, but I'm down for, it looks good. I'd be down for watching it. I'm going to check it out for at least nostalgia reasons, you know. Same thing with Scream 7. I'm excited every time a Scream 7 or a Scream movie comes out. So I'm happy they're bringing back some of these 90s slasher franchises. I'm all about it. Yeah, take the compliment, man. But I'm pretty sure you weren't alive in the 90s. Yeah. How old are you? What are we in? We're in 2025. Okay, maybe just born. Just born for you. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Zayd Comics. Were you guys even born? Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That's no. You lying. 93, really? Yeah, for some reason I thought you were way younger than that. All right. Well, good. All right. 10 years younger than me. Still makes me feel old, you know? So let's just move on from that conversation. You know what I'm saying? All right. Without further ado, let's just jump into the Predator conversation. That's all I really wanted to talk about. Because I know there was a lot of hype going into this movie. There was the animated movie that came out that they released that I saw the previews for, and I thought that looked all right. Sean, my co-host on Ott and stuff, sent it to me, and I looked at it. I was like, I'm not really a big fan of the animation. I don't know if you guys are hyped for the animated Predator movie. I think they could have gone way better animation, and I would have been more excited than I am about it. And then I saw Sean again sends me the other day the preview, the teaser here for Predator Badlands, and I was excited. Like before I get into saying what I'm going to say about this movie, and I'm kind of torn in two directions when it comes to the hype for this movie or what I think this is going to be, because and let me just say, I'm a big fan of the Predator. Predator 1, the original Predator, what was that, 88 when that came out? That was one of my favorite movies growing up. Just amazing. You know, obviously had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. I was a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger, but the thing about that movie that was cool is that the Predator kind of just fell into a story that was already going on it was kind of almost like it was a military story for the most of the movie, for like 40 minutes of the movie, and then you get the Predator jumps in and the movie just shifts, right? Love that movie. Then Predator 2 came out, huge fan of that movie as well. Like those two movies specifically, when I was a teenager, I hold those in high regards, you know, for just being a well done sci-fi horror movie. And to me, that's what the Predator movies should be. Fast forward when they did Aliens vs. Predator, was in the early 2000s, I think it was. It was okay. They made it PG-13, which I think was the big mistake at that point. It was cool to have the crossover, like that was a big event thing. I just don't think they executed it very well. And then the second one came out. Now it's just kind of almost a glorified, just a cheap kind of horror movie that they put together. It wasn't really good at all. I did not like it. Then they get into Predators with Robert Rodriguez doing it. That was a cool concept. That was interesting. I didn't mind it. Although Adrian Brody, I never took as a leading guy. Like when you look at the guys that fought the Predator, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny Glover. Schwarzenegger, obviously, bigger than life badass, right? Danny Glover was just like the old kind of grizzled cop that you could see it, right? He was not a match for him physically, but you could kind of see that just the grit of that character could take on the Predator. So Adrian Brody, this 110-pound dude, taking on the Predator, being the last man standing when they had way cooler characters in that movie that could have actually been the lead. I just didn't like it. I also didn't like the concept of the bigger Predators and all this kind of stuff. It just didn't resonate with me. I saw it in the theater. It was okay, nothing big. And then the last one that came out, I don't even remember. I watched it 2 seconds of it. I forgot the entire thing before they did Prey. Now Prey comes out and it was actually well received. People dug it. I thought it was okay. It wasn't my favorite. I do believe it kind of came out in the hype of the height of the DEI stuff. You had here's the thing about Prey. It was shot well. The character design of the Predator was cool. I like the concept of what they were going for with that character. I like that it was back in the day with with the whole Indians aspect of it. That was cool stuff. I just couldn't get behind the fact that a adolescent teenage girl could outsmart and take out the Predator. It never made sense to me. Of all of the protagonists in the Predator movies, that was the most unbelievable one to me. And I had a hard time just wrapping my mind around that could be. Now, granted, it was a good movie. It wasn't my favorite, but if I had to rank them, that would probably put that behind Predator 2, because it would just, at least it had a sense of good storytelling, and the special effects were pretty decent. The design of the Predator was new, but it was cool. I didn't have a problem with it. No worries. So I was excited that they were making another one, and there were all these rumors. Was it going to be in ancient Japan? Was it going to be in World War II? All this stuff coming down the pipeline, and where you could put the Predator next, and how you could deal with this threat. And then this movie comes out. Now I just have to. This is a long-winded kind of intro to my point when it comes to the Predator, just to let you guys know that I know the Predator. I like the Predator. Yes, I've read some of the comics, this or that, so I'm a Predator fan. So with that being said, I'm going to say some things about this movie that might not be popular compared to some of the people that we have either commenting on social media or in the chat. The Digital Ninja says the Predator is supposed to look badass, not see that in this trailer. That's one of my biggest things. And I'm going to get into that because one of my biggest complaints of the Predator is the design. You're not seeing that. I see you. Dennis Kelly's in the house, says, hey, Joe, and the chat. Hail to you, brother. So glad to hear the height of the DEI stuff being mentioned in the past tense. Maybe there's hope for the future. Yeah, definitely. To me, it is the past tense. I think we're definitely coming out of it. I think that's a good thing. Get back to some storytelling without having to check boxes. That's all we need to do. Let's get more into organic DEI, if that makes sense. Like it was in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, when it was just you cast who you wanted to cast, and it wasn't checking boxes. It wasn't like to pat yourself on the back. Let's get rid of that whole DEI stuff, and let's just tell some good stories. All right, let's jump into this trailer. I want to take a look at this with you guys. I've only watched this once, and I only did that because I wanted to cover it on this show, and I wanted to kind of watch it again with fresh eyes and see what you guys are thinking about it as well. And just, maybe I see something I didn't see the first time around. But I don't know. I don't think my mind's really going to change. Let's jump into it. This is the Predators Badlands trailer that dropped a few days ago. Let's go.
I didn't think you survived.
So far, so good, you know? I was interested up until that point. The first time you actually see this young predator. And I looked at him for a second when I was watching this trailer for just once. And I was just like, I don't know. Like the design right off the bat doesn't catch me. Like the trailer started to kind of pull me in. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. This doesn't really remind me of a Predator movie per se. It's got a completely different feel. I was like, you could be getting me here. And then the first look you get at the guy, I was just like, oh, I don't know. Like that's some red flags. Let's keep going.
You're hunting something that can't be killed.
Okay. This is where I had my first problem watching the trailer. I've come to expect a certain design out of the Predator. Now, yeah, I know naysayers can sit there and say, like, oh, they all look different, you know, like human beings all look different. The race of the Predator, they all look different, blah, blah, blah. And I get that. I completely get that. If you look at the movies over the years, there have been a lot of different designs of the Predator over the years. I don't think that you can touch the original design because I think it was just too perfect on the Predator, the first movie. But Predator 2 was a damn close second. Those two to me are the top designs of Predators I've seen. They have not really been able to get back to that mountaintop of that design. Probably most likely when technology keeps going on, there's too much CGI. There's too much of it going into the facial expressions of the Predators, where the old days of the animatronics or whatever you do in the masks, there was just something about the way that you did that, the practical effects that just almost looked way more realistic than this. I don't know what this looks like, to be honest with you. This, to me, looks like dog shit. I'm sorry to say. Now, the rest of the movie might be interesting. I'm going to talk about that in a second. I want to see what you guys think, too, about where they're going here with this movie. But my biggest complaint with this is the design of the character. I don't care if it's supposed to be a younger, Predator, smaller body, smaller muscles, all that kind of stuff. The design is still bad. I saw a couple people do mock-ups of this design on X and just make it look a little bit more like Predator and still kind of keep the young feel. And it looked a lot better with the cranium, the head being bigger, the dreadlocks being more designed like they should be. This looks way too modern of a hairstyle for an alien, for a warrior race. I saw people argue too back and forth about the Vikings TV show, like, oh, this represents this, blah, blah, blah. Lots of nerd arguments. I get it. The point is, the design, not my favorite, and it's not doing anything for me to want me to go watch this movie when the lead character is designed like this. That's not my only issue. I'll get into others, but here we go. All right, November 7th. Let's rock and roll. Okay. I know a lot of people are excited about this, and I'm not going to shit on anybody's parade. I'm going to play this again, but mute it. I'm going to shit on anybody's parade when it comes to this stuff. If people are excited and they're looking forward to seeing this, by all means, don't let what I'm going to say rob your joy of it. My biggest issue with this movie is it has no feel of a Predator movie whatsoever. And what do I mean by that? Because I got in a conversation with a couple of people online that were excited about, even Sean. Sean and I are a little bit different on this. Sean thinks it looks really good. He's not a big fan of the design of the Predator, but he thinks the overall movie looks good. Getting into more of the lore. And I get that. A lot of people have read the books or read the comic books or whatever. They know the expanded lore of the Predator world. And they're really looking to see them dive into this. I don't know if that's necessarily going to work. Because you're taking a movie that has, or a franchise that has an established tone, for the most part, over 25, 30 years of movies that have been produced, and they've usually been generally put into a horror movie feel, right? The Predator is an antagonist, not a protagonist. The problem that I have with the Predator, and why I think this is going to fall flat, and what I'm worried about, is anytime you take the Predator and you put him into a good guy role, like Aliens vs. Predators or whatever, it falls flat to me because this character is a character that should be intimidating and feared, and the antagonist of the storyline. You know, you should be trying to fight this thing that can't be killed. Although if he bleeds, it can be killed. You know what I'm saying? But when you put him in a good guy role, you take the suspense out of it, really, because all you're gonna do, there's some cool characters in this. Like they got that big ass character in the fog or the mist that he's got to fight, whatever that might be. You know, there could be something intense wise, but you know the Predator's not going to really have a challenger for the most part. This looks more like a Predator meets Star Wars meets Dune, you know, like trying to capture that crowd. And you're really kind of losing the essence of what the Predator is to me, just to kind of get the bigger audience. Now, to me, you're trying something new. Kudos to you. You know, obviously, Hollywood needs something new, right? You can't always keep doing the same thing over and over again. And I completely understand that. So shout out for them doing something new. I just don't know if this is it. I don't know if this particular story or movie is it. The design is absolutely garbage. And that's the biggest thing that bothers me. If you were to do the same concept, but have the look of the 1988 Predator movie and just made him a little bit younger, a little bit smaller, a little bit less muscles or whatever, but you had that kind of same basic design in the face, I think it would. I think I'd be a lot more happy. You know, so to me, it's not necessarily the style of the movie that is bugging me, more so that it's the design that is really getting me. I mean, what are you guys thinking out there? I see some people talking. Let me see what's up with this. Okay, all this in the house. What's going on, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. What's up with the white chick or the white chick, white eyes thing? There's some rumors. I guess I've heard some people talk that they are maybe connecting this to the aliens or the alien universe again, and that this is one of these the androids from the alien universe that's in this movie, and that we're probably going to see another crossover down the line with Alien Predator. So this could be somewhat of a setup. I mean, look what they do with Godzilla and King Kong, right? This kind of shared universe, bringing them together and doing all this stuff. I feel like they're probably going to do that with this. They're taking that formula and going to do it with this franchise. So we'll see if that actually happens with that. The look kind of threw me too. I did like it's more Predator centric. It's too human like. Yeah. There is an article I want to read to you guys here in a second where the director specifically kind of mentions that. If I remember right, when this thing screams, there are no movements in the rest of his face. And see, that's the technology, right? That's the CGI where they're making him more expressive now. Where back in the day, you were limited, right? You were a little bit limited a little bit with the practical effects. There was only so much they could do. And what they did was amazing. With that mask and the movement of the face and everything. But it was, the stone face look was a lot more intimidating than seeing all of the movement in this character's face because of the CGI and what they can do technology. Sometimes I think they're just, the technology ruins it. Even terrible designs from the Predator were better than this. They did not show respect to Winston design. Yes, great point, Aldous. Absolutely great point. There have been some bad designs of the Predators. Like I said, the first two, Predator 1 and 2 are my favorite. I think they're untouchable. Perfect designs, you know. And then Aliens vs. Predator, I think that was the next time you got to see a Predator in a live action thing. And they did like 3 specifically different Predators or whatever. And I thought some of those designs were horrible. I was like, you just can't capture the magic of the first ones. And then they made more movies. And I don't think I've actually really liked an actual Predator design. Prey was okay. But I haven't liked one since Predator 2. That's it, you know, because it's just hard to capture the magic of the original. It just is. Yeah, it's a poor attempt. Yep. It's another offshoot of the Predator species, supposedly based on reports in the same way as they show different breeds and predators. Yeah, I've read that too, and I've heard that, and that's one of the things I don't like. And that's just me personally. I know I've said that on social media, and some other people have not liked the I have that opinion apparently. But I'm like, if the one predator in the first two movies are the same species, if you want a jungle predator, you got city predator, whatever, but they're fairly same species. I want that species because they look badass. They look cool. I'm not interested in the other species, of predators, the giant predators from Predators, or this one, or anything else, or even the primitive predator from Prey. I'm really not interested in it. I stand corrected. There was a furling of the I guess, but not that much, right? It was just what they could do with special effects back in that day. I agree. This particular predator looks nice. I like it. Cow dung. I dig it. John Snowden's in the house. What's going on, man? Ultimate Predator concept, ancient Japan, starring that guy from Shogun. Oh yeah. I don't know how to pronounce that name or that word. And the Wolverine actress, that chick, basically a Predator versus Ronin / ninja. There was a rumor after Prey came out that might be where they go with the storyline. It was either ancient Japan or it was World War II. Those were two rumors I had heard floating around out there that they might do. And I'm like, what a concept. A Predator in ancient Japan. What a concept that would have been. That would have been so awesome if they went that direction. Instead, they go the way they are. But that right there is a winner to me. The ancient Japan, all the architects, the samurais, just the look that you would see, a different environment for the Predator to be in, and a Predator going against ancient Japanese warriors. Man, what an awesome concept that would be. I wish they had done that. Maybe this Predator is a hybrid mixed with a puny human. There is a thought right off the bat. People were like, well, maybe they're going to deal with like the whole hybrid aspect, which I hope they don't. I really hope they don't. That's a played out storyline in my opinion. It was kind of cool when they used to do it back in the day. But I think it would be a lazy storytelling if they were to do that with this movie, to do the crossbreeds, the hybrid. Maybe that's why an excuse why it looks a little bit more human. I think it's just a poor design, and they're trying to make the Predator more relatable to moviegoers, which I guess you have to do if you're making a protagonist. You have to do that, which I think is a mistake. Again, I don't think it's good. Well, apparently, if you listen to the nerds argue, which I do because it's fun, I guess their foreheads are smaller when they're younger, and as they get bigger or older, they get bigger. As they hit maturity or whatever. So I guess that's the answer to that. I don't know. The CGI looks bad now. This stuff from the 90s starts to look dude, you can't touch it. Those practical effects, chef's kiss. You can't touch it. Okay, that'd be killer if she's a Wayland, however you pronounce that. Yes. There is something. Where is it at? There's something in the trailer people keep pointing out. Again, I only watched this trailer once, but let me see if I can find it. There is a scene in the trailer not too long after you see this chick where someone's saying that there is equipment with that name on it, which is what led to that rumor. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Yeah. All right, let me play it from here and see if we can. Maybe not. Maybe it's not in there. So I got this on mute. I don't think we need to listen to it a third time or a fourth time or however long we'd listen to it. I'm not even showing it to you guys, am I? My bad. Fail. Okay. I think that might have been it. Let me back up here. Okay. There is a scene here where it involves a chick and there's equipment in the background. Maybe that's it. No. Okay. I don't know. Some of this junk or whatever that has that name, or people see that thing in the background here. I don't know if I can find the exact still, but there are people that took a still, blew it up, all that kind of stuff, zoomed in and said they could see. There it was. The symbol. Somewhere in here. See right here? Some people are saying that is that, and it's a connection or whatever. So that could be a possibility. If if they're setting that up again, that's fine. I don't mind the Alien vs Predator thing. I think it could be cool. This movie to me, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it keeps steering the Predator franchise to where we get a Steve Urkel. Oh, Steve Urkel. Jeez, Predator. Just kidding. I'll just keep Predator 1 and Alien vs Predator. There you go. I've only seen 3 Predator movies. All of them had the shoulder lasers. Did the other movies have it? I think most of them have the shoulder laser, if I can remember. I think Prey did. I think it had a version of it. 1 and 2 definitely did. Aliens vs Predator. Yeah, I think they all did. I think it's just like kind of a custom weapon that they have. Predators was pretty dope, underrated. There are aspects of that movie I like, and then there's a lot of stuff that I really dislike about that movie. I got a crazy idea. They should use the comic books for their storyboards and scripts. I totally stand by a true to the comic Alien vs Predator, Alien Earth War. All right. Here's one of my things with this, Duck Bacon, that I have an issue with that. I think the Predator works well in that setting when you're talking about comic books, where you can expand the lore and you can get a little bit deeper into the species, the worlds, where they can be the protagonists of the book. I think it works good in that format. I think the problem is when you get into the big screen, that too much of the Predator looks kind of cheesy. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is less Predator you get in a movie keeps it mysterious and it makes an impact. Every time he comes on the screen, it's an impact because you haven't seen him in 60% of the movie. You see him in 30% of the movie or whatever. So when he pops up, the scene is intense. It has an impact. It has a long-lasting impact to the story, to the movie itself. Small doses of the Predator. When you dive into a movie like this, and what I'm worried about is the more screen time the Predator gets, that means the more acting the Predator has to do. And the acting is going to be done by CGI. So you have to make this Predator relatable to the watcher now that he is the main star of the movie, which means he's got to show a range of emotions, not just the Predator that you see, pull the mask off, mandibles, all that kind of stuff, roar, do that thing, not the cool stuff that you get to just see right off the bat when you're seeing like Predator 1, Predator 2, or whatever in the fight scenes. You get to see him at his most coolest, right? Now you got to show a Predator with emotions. And in this movie, you're going to have to show him with, maybe loss. He loses his family. It seems like there's some kind of takeover. Maybe his dad gets killed. Who knows what story they're going with. But you're going to have to show him with those emotions of sorrow, maybe a little bit of fear, overcoming stuff. And I don't think that works with the Predator, at least on the screen. I don't think it works. I think it can work in the comic books just fine. But when you're moving that character to the big screen and you have to relate to him and you have to see him act, and it's not human acting, it's CGI acting, I don't think it's going to come across the way that they want it to. I think it's going to come across cheesy. And that's what I worry about then when I go watch this movie, that I'm just going to be thrown off by this thing trying to act as the good guy or the protagonist going forward. And I don't think that's going to work. I really don't. Back to work. Have a great show. Take it easy, guys. All right, Dennis. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for being here. We will see you next time. Like an Alien, you never see them in the first one. That's the best way to do it. Alien was great. Even Aliens was good because even though you saw Aliens more, or the Aliens more in Aliens, they were still kind of held in a smaller portion of that. Like the story was still about Ripley, it was still about the Space Marines, and then you would get the impact shots of the aliens when you would have the battles. Like that was good. It lasted in your memory. You remember those scenes. Same thing with Predator. Same thing with Predator 2. Too much Predator, it gets watered down. We all think we want to see more Predator, but when you actually see more Predator, it's hard to pull off. That is the reality of these kind of movies. These characters work best in small doses, and you have the story being carried by a more human factor, or the stories being told through different characters. And the Predator is just something that exists in the movie, good guy or bad guy, right? Predominantly, I think it works best as a bad guy, for the star to overcome, as opposed to what they're trying to do with this character. Wiley J. Draws is in the house. The original Predator is a slasher movie, to Joe's point. Pretty much, yeah, right? Picks people off one by one, kills here, kills there. You know, and again, badass design. It was more of like kind of a horror. Yeah, that's a good point. Slasher movie, horror slasher, you know, sci-fi, but it had that horror element to it. It wasn't necessarily an action movie, even though there was a lot of action in it. It's kind of like an action horror, I guess, maybe. Rick Saylor says, I'm done with Predator. The new Tron looks dope, though. Tron looks pretty good. I got to check out the full trailer. I haven't watched it yet, but that looks like it could be pretty good. John Snowden says, yeah, basically Blade Runner, Aliens and Predator mashed up. Idea is sick. We're going to see how that goes. Again, I don't think it's going to work, but I could be proven wrong, and I'm fine with being proven wrong. I have no problem having my opinion changed by actually seeing it. Like that's one thing I'll always do. I can start with an opinion here, and I'll tell you guys what I think. If I go and see the movie and I actually like it, I'll be like, you know what? I was wrong. The movie was really good. The acting of the Predator was great. The design was awesome. All this kind of stuff. I don't have a problem going back on my original opinion. I just have a fear that this is what it's going to be. And again, the design is the biggest thing that is holding me up right now, because you're showing a trailer for this movie. What are trailers to do? They're supposed to make you hyped, get you excited to want to go spend your freaking $20, $40, depending on who you're taking to the movie, and then another how many ever $20 at the concessions. It makes you hyped to want to lay that money down, right? That's what the trailer is supposed to do. The design of the characters should have been so badass that when you finally see it on screen, that all the other stuff that they're trying to do with the expanding the lore and this more kind of space opera stuff that I feel like they're aiming at, it looks kind of cool. It's interesting. It catches your eye, and you're like, okay, this is new. I'm digging it. Then that design of the Predator should pop up, and it should just be one of those things that blows you away, and you're like, holy shit! Everybody universally should be like, you see the Predator design on that? It looks awesome. I can't wait to see that movie. And it falls flat. It just does. There's no way around it. An emotional premenstrual predator. Oh man. Yeah, we're going to find out. Less is absolutely more, especially with these characters. It's the same thing in Alien Resurrection. Way too many aliens in that movie. And it killed it. Too many just like full on shots of aliens, because they had the special effects and they had the CGI, and they were able to kind of, for the first time, really go into that franchise and put that feel into it. And it killed it, because everyone was trying to be Jurassic Park, right? It's the same thing with Jurassic Park. Less dinosaurs would be better than just overrunning you with dinosaur after dinosaur. Like, we all think we want to see these things in the movies until we get our fill of it. And then we realize that less is more. The reason why we like them is because we want to see more. We shouldn't be given, it's like, we want the candy. Right? When we get all the candy, our stomachs hurt. You shouldn't get all the candy. You should always want that. You should always be having people want to see more instead of giving them exactly what they want. Because a lot of times it just doesn't, it falls flat. Charles Rivas is in the house. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Sean Martin says, that's if Freddy or Leatherface got emotional scene to be empathetic with. Just defeats the purpose. Yeah. Absolutely. I get that fans of Predator, and this is the whole thing when I say like nerd wars, right? You get the people that are the Predator stans, which I think some of them are just Predator simps, but they think that just because they read the comics or whatever, and they know all this lore or whatever here, that they are some kind of experts that can speak on it, and like, this is what we want, this is blah blah blah. Well, great. I hope it is what you want. But there's a whole other section of people that love the movies because of the movies. Like, the movies made the comics famous, not the other way around. So there's a lot of people that fell in love with the movies, the movie lore, and they want to see that. Then there's nothing wrong with that. Both sides, nothing wrong with feeling the way you feel. But when you come and attack people like me, who just want to say like, hey, this doesn't look good, this isn't the Predator movie that I was looking for, and somehow that makes me less of a Predator fan because reasons, like, I don't get down with that. Like, it doesn't work. This is my opinion, and I'm going to share it. Everybody else can have theirs. And again, you can go see the movie, and I hope it's great, and I hope you absolutely love it. I just have reservations, and I'm putting that out there. John Stone says, damn, so if Disney owns both Aliens and Predator and Marvel, what do you think will pick? Who do you pick to fight them? Well, if you see what Marvel's doing with Predator kills the Marvel Universe, kind of got the answer there. You know, that's another whole subject. I was going to talk about that. But I don't even want to touch that. Just they ran out of ideas over there. I just left the movie theater. I seen Revenge of the Sith. Nice. The Tron trailer looks great on the big screen, and the Avengers and Fantastic Four honestly look boring as fuck. And that's me, or that's not me just being a dick. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting with those. I have to hold out judgment on all that until I actually see them on the big screen. But I got reservations about Fantastic Four, just like I do Superman. The only one I think actually looks pretty damn good is Jurassic Park Rebirth, and I think that'll be pretty good because they got a good formula over there. YSA says, yeah, Resurrection was terrible. It was horrible. I remember being very excited and going to see that in the theater, and it was bad. It was bad. Spielberg came up with the less is more. Jaws, a robot never worked, so they just took it out and made it the more scarier of the 70s. Yeah, that was a great formula because you were supposed to see that shark way more than they showed it, and it was actually a blessing in disguise that shark didn't work, that the robot didn't work, the animatronics didn't work on that, and they had to do less and show, build up the fear in different ways. And I think that's the formula. I think it's a formula for characters like this, so that when you actually see him, like I said, it makes an impact in the movie itself. True, but some of those comic fans didn't read. Okay, let me try that again. True, but some of those comics the movie fans didn't read were far superior to some of the movies. Yeah, absolutely. Story-wise, because again, you can do things in comics that you can't do in movies. Especially technology-wise, especially when this movie came out, or when it first came out in the 80s. You can expand in the comics and do way more. But the problem is that the theatrical version of it set the character up to be a certain way, to be the antagonist in a movie, in a horror slasher kind of setting. When you start to flip that and you take a character that people are used to just going to the movies and seeing this character and you flip him into a good guy, it doesn't click. So yeah, you might satisfy a certain group of people, but I think you're going to alienate or just turn off another certain group of people. So I'm not sure what the actual goal is there. Now, again, trying something new, I get it. You want to capture this King Kong, Godzilla fan base that's going on right now. You've got the whole Dune, Star Wars thing. That's what it feels like that they're doing. This doesn't feel like something that is anything that's original. It feels like a copy of a copy of a copy of concept. Let's put together because we want to try to cash in right now on things that are popular and hot. And it might work. It very well might work. It might be a really good movie, a good concept and everything. I just think that it's like you're going to see way too many of these characters, way too much of these characters. I just don't think it's going to be the same kind of aspect that you see when you think of the Predator. That's my biggest worry. And again, I want to be proven wrong on a lot of these things. I want to be proven wrong because I want these movies to do well. I don't know when it comes to this one. I think we could have. I think it could be the issues. And it might be a giant hit. It might do really good at the box office, and I'll have to be forced to go see it, and then I'll have to come here and be like, what, guys, I was wrong. So if that's the case, I hope that's the case. Let's see. So I saw this article from Screen Rant saying Dan, whatever his name is, unique character in the Predator franchise titled The Predator Badlands introduces a new Predator to the mix with a look unlike any. And I can never pronounce this name. Predator stands, as you guys call each other. I guess I'm just a tourist because I can't pronounce that name. Seen before. The first trailer for the last entry in the storied sci-fi horror franchise brings an entirely new world to the forefront. Far away both in time and distance from the, whatever that guy's name is, previous Predator movie, the widely acclaimed Prey. Again, widely acclaimed. It was good. It was fine. It wasn't anything special, but it was all right. New adventure stars Ellie Fanning. Oh, that's why she looks so familiar. She's one of the Fanning girls. Oh, okay. I thought she looked familiar. I couldn't pinpoint it. And it acts as a standalone film in the franchise continuity, set a few hundred years in the future. Predator Badlands looks to be a key film in expanding the franchise lore. Now, look, that's the key right there. So I get exactly what they're doing. Expanding the franchise lore. That makes sense. I get it. They're trying something new. Let's actually show what these creatures' worlds are, and when they don't just come to Earth and hunt human beings or hunt big game or whatever. We establish in Predator 2 that they go and hunt many different species across many different worlds. Let's get into that. Whatever, that's cool. I have no problem with that. Again, the story itself is not the biggest thing. It's the design, but I just have a worry that too many predators or too much predator screen time is going to fall flat a little bit. The Predator franchise has featured a parade of different variations on the iconic Predator creature design, but most have at least retained the same hulking figure, body armor, multiple mandible mouth, and nasty temperament. Judging by the Predator Badlands trailer, the director and co will bring a new member of the species into the fold with a look that is distinct from his predecessors. It isn't just a fun, creative new version. However, the new Predator's look has a distinct purpose from storytelling perspective. And they got to show a couple pictures here. While the new Predator still has the familiar mandibles and dreadlocks, there are several key differences that makes his appearance the closest Yakuda has ever come to looking human. And that's the thing right there. That's what I caught out of this article, and what I wanted to share was that right there. Has been identified as a younger member of the species. He has a slighter build than many of the predators in the movie franchise, and his skull features are less developed, which is what I think was it Duck Bacon? Is that what you were asking earlier? Or somebody was. While he has some armor on, at least more than the Predator from Prey, due to the futuristic settings, appears far less sophisticated than that of the more experienced Predators, and therefore his less musculed appearance is more obvious. Yeah. The same goes for his dreadlocks. As he is a younger Predator, they appear to not be quite as extensive, to the point that he is able to pin them back and keep the rest of this. Okay, this is what again, design-wise, none of that was necessary. Like the whole cranium, the whole forehead was what was cool, and then you had the dreads coming out the back. Like there was a cool look to that. I don't think they necessarily had to go with this to show like the younger Predator, younger style, pinned up dreads. I don't know. His eye sockets are far more open than the Predators from the past, which aligns with the general concept of having his appearance less concealed. Stripped away many of the more extreme facial and body features of the Predator, the one in the Predator Badlands has a more humanoid form, which is essential to his characterization. And I think they're either hopefully not going with a hybrid thing, or they're going specifically because they are trying to make the star of the movie more human features, facial expressions, all that stuff, so you relate better to him. And again, that's what I'm saying. You're going to have to see more acting, CGI acting of the character than you have in the past, which worries me, because acting when a human acts, you have the facial expressions, they tell a story, they tell an emotion, all that kind of stuff. Can you do that with CGI characters? Yes, to a point. But I think when it's a fully rendered CGI character like a Predator, and you're trying to show this different species that is not human, showing human emotions, I think it could come off cheesy. That's just one thing I worry about. I hope the movie is amazing, man. We need some flicks that rock again. I do too. Despite, like I said, when I started this show, when I started this topic, I was like, let me explain. I'm a huge fan of the Predator. I want the movie to be good. I want more Predator movies out there. I just have worries based on what I've seen and what I've read here. I wasn't as big of a fan of Prey as a lot of other people were. It was an okay movie, but it wasn't all that. Like I would love to see him make another movie in the form of the first two movies, kind of that formula, without all of the hyped special effects that they've done over the last two movies before Prey, I would say, or at least the movie right before Prey. Prey took too long to pop off. That was one thing I didn't mind about it. Again, less is more, and I thought they did that with that movie. Like they had that kind of formula where you did the traditional kind of less scene of the Predator until you needed to, and then he was on screen, and I thought that was fine. I just didn't like the concept of the Indian chick, the Indian girl, 16-year-old, however old she was, being able to take down a Predator warrior. It just didn't make sense to me. I think Hollywood gets confused on what should be a movie and what should be a video game. Yeah, oftentimes that's a great point. Video game wise, I mean, yeah, this would make a killer video game because you would want to be the Predator in a video game, and that would work, right? Because you could even take the Predator on an antagonist role, being the main character in a video game. That kind of stuff works so much better in a video game or comic books or novels or that kind of stuff. It works so much better because your imagination is way better than anything they can put on the big screen. And now we're doing that concept, but you're putting it on the big screen. And now we have to go into a completely different world, which is fine. If they do it right, it could be good. But again, I think we're going to see way too many of the Predators, which is going to make them less unique in the filming, in the viewing experience. That is my worry. Oh, you've never seen it? I wasn't going to see it originally, and then it came to what did it release on Max during COVID? Is that when it came out? It was one of those free movies that was supposed to be in the theater or whatever, and then went right to Max. Am I correct on that, or maybe Peacock? But I was like, hey, it's free, it's coming. You know, let's check it out. And it was all right. It was fine. It was nothing bad. Like I said, I would put it probably ranked right behind Predator 2. Because there's so many of the Predator, Alien vs. Predator movies I thought were garbage. The first one was okay. Predators was okay. I'd put that right behind Prey. And then the last Predator movie that came out before Prey, I thought was just another just garbage take at the franchise. Okay, yeah. It's clear that the Predator's more human-like appearance is designed to make him easier to identify for the audience. For the first time, the audience is meant to root for the Predator as a protagonist instead of being a circumstantial ally like an Aliens vs. Predator. Which again, that was kind of more of the what kind of formula am I thinking of with that? It seemed like he was the Predator in that movie seemed more of like the tag along. Do you remember that scene in that movie where you see the giant queen alien and the Predator? It was so bad. And that's why I worry about it. They showed that expression on that young Predator's face when he's running around with that chick and his eyes get big. And he's just like, he gasps at the sight of this giant. And it was played for laughs. But when you do that with a character like that, it falls flat. It does not do good. And I'm worried that that's what it's going to be. That was the first thing that popped in my head when I saw the trailer. And when I read this article is that scene from Alien vs. Predator, where he does that, like, gasp. And I was just like, it was so bad. It was so cheesy. Like, please don't do that. Or the outright villain. While the entire plot is not yet clear based on what's being reported, it can be inferred that the Predator in Badlands is an outcast in his first hunt, which will determine his status with the Yachua society moving forward. Let's see. Fanning is the only human cast member that can be identified, and it appears that she is actually... Oh, yeah. So it says it right there. A Wieland android, not human. So there's a crossover there. So the hero really does appear to be the young Predator. And that's the thing. Like, she's not going to be, I think, in my opinion, the star of the movie. She is going to be the supporting actor. You know, so the Predator is going to have to carry the screen time. He's going to have to carry all of the acting. Moviegoers need to be able to separate this new character from the menacing, muscular killer that they're used to fearing, and changing his appearance is a good way to get there. It's a fairly common psychological trick to make an audience see themselves in the hero in any genre, and that's what I don't want. I don't need to see myself in the Predator. You know, even if he's the protagonist of the movie, I don't need to see a more human-like Predator to get into the fact that he's supposed to be the good guy. That's a mistake. It is. So making the Predator look more human adjacent is an easy way to execute the concept. No, I'm sorry. I think that's everything wrong with what this movie is going to be. I don't think that's a good idea. I think that is a horrible idea, to be honest with you. Keep the design the same. Do you guys, even if you're excited about seeing this movie, which I think is great, don't get me wrong, but do you guys need to see yourselves a more human aspect to the character in the movie to know that he's supposed to be the protagonist of the movie? Do you need that? Or do you want to see a better designed Predator within the same kind of concept story? See, this is where they overthink this aspect of movies. Design is so important. The visual design is so important to these characters. When you mess with it too much, it's like the Batman suit, right? A lot of people hated the Batman movie because of Robert Pattinson. because a lot of people didn't like the casting. But when they saw him for the first time in the Batman suit, it was even worse because that didn't help matters at all. It was just like, this is what we're getting. I personally didn't mind it, but this is, like what happens. If you're going to have a design, you need to have, or if you're going to have a character, you need to have that design pop off of the movie for everybody that's a fan of the movie. Otherwise, it's going to fall flat. So you can have the same concept, expand the lore, get into more of the space opera stuff, bring in the Dune, Star Wars, the whole audience from Godzilla and King Kong, bring that in, whole feel, change the feel around, but have an awesome design of the Predator. And I think people, even like me, would be really down for it because I'd be like, that's what I want to see, that look right there. But they're messing up because they're trying to make it more appealing to me. Like, I can't separate the fact that I'm going to go see a CGI character in a fantasy movie that I need to see myself. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. That kind of actually really pisses me off. Pisses off is a strong word. It annoys the hell out of me that is their thinking. Instead of trying to make something look as cool as possible, you're trying to relate to me or to anybody else in a human aspect because this guy is now going to be the protagonist. Now I have to see him as more of a human features. That it doesn't make sense. It's stupid. It's stupid. There's something fundamentally wrong with you if you need to self-identify with a character in fiction to enjoy it. Hands down. Yeah, whether it's human, whether it's monsters, right, whatever. Comics, movies, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I've never identified with any of the characters that I've read or been a fan of. Even the most identifiable character in comics or in storytelling, Peter Parker, never even identified with him. It was cool stuff. He struggled. He had struggles he had to get through. But I've never sat down and been like, oh, I need to identify with this character to get into the story, this movie, or this comic. I think it's dumb. I think it's stupid. It takes the whole thing about movies, storytelling in general, it's an escape. It's a fantasy escape from reality. Allows you to get into your imagination if you're reading a book. Allows you to just kind of escape for a little bit if you're watching a movie or you're reading a comic book. I don't need to identify myself as the Predator. I have enough imagination. If I want to imagine myself as a Predator, I can. He doesn't need to look more human. I want to imagine myself as that badass Predator from 1988. That's what I want to imagine myself. Not this thing. Not this thing at all. Like, this is just, I don't get it. I don't get it. Paul Sarts is in the house. Hashtag we are Predator. I feel you, brother. Aliens vs. Predator sucked. Aliens vs. Predator Requiem was both terrible and awesome. Humans die left and right. Yeah, that was like a true slasher Predator film was Requiem. Like, even the way it was shot, the way it was told, they tried to capture that like 90s 2000 kind of slasher horror movie feel with that movie. And again, I don't think it worked because that's not the tone of the Predator. The tone of the Predator is Predator 1 and Predator 2. That formula worked, and they were so badass movies, and they're so classic. They stand the test of time because, one, the designs are great, but the way the story is told is the way that people expect to see the Predator in that aspect. If you're going to make him the antagonist, all this says really identify with a great number of villains that want to subjugate a vast majority of the ignorant masses. Oh, nice, but it didn't need to do that to enjoy something. I like it. I like that, man. I like that. Good takes. Good takes. So anyway, I'm not extremely excited about this as other people are. I will watch it at some point. I don't think I'm going to go see it in the theater. Who knows? Maybe I'll get bored one weekend and me and my wife will go do it. But I'm probably more or less going to wait for this to go to streaming and just check it out when it hits there. And just much like I did with Prey. Actually, I guess Prey just came to streaming. So, but I don't know. I just worry about it. I love the franchise. I love the Predator franchise. I love the Alien franchise. And whenever I see something I feel like it's not going to work, then it just sets the franchise back before you can recover. Hold on a second. Oh, sorry, I had to sneeze, and I did not want you guys to hear all that. So I don't think I've ever done that live on stream before. First time for everything. I like Predator 2. I've liked it since the day one. Fuck all the haters. Yes. Yes. Want some candy? I was identified with the sewer in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I'm shit. Nice. I like that. I like that. That's good. That's good. I'm glad that you guys can identify with certain aspects of characters out there. I probably hit it up at the cheap seats, but after dragging my wife to Alien Romulus, I doubt she'll join me this time. I didn't see that movie. I didn't think it looked good. I know when the preview came out for it, a lot of people were excited about it. But the more I watched the preview, I was just like, this just looks like modern day, masking version of trying to capture the Kubrick Alien. And I just didn't think it looked good. Did you like all this, or was it just your wife that didn't like it? I forgot there was another Alien movie. Yeah, like what? Did it come out last year? I think it was last year, right? I still have not seen it because I can't bring myself to do it. Some of these movies, I just cannot bring myself to do it because I love the franchise so much that I don't want to start not liking it because the movies are so bad. With Predator's Prey was okay. It didn't chase me off. It wasn't anything special. I had my issues with it. Now I got Badlands to contend with. And now I'm really worried because it's like, where are we going with this? We're taking a traditional kind of horror movie and we're pushing it now into the sci-fi fantasy space opera category of the franchise. And I don't know if I dig it. I don't know if I dig it. Alien Romulus is 2 acts of a solid film followed by 2 acts of member berries. Okay. So too much. I got you on that. I mean, I'll check it out. I don't mind the member berries too much as long as it fits, I guess, within the story. And it's still fun. So I guess if half the movie is good, I don't know. I'll check it out one of these days. First half is solid. That's okay. I might do that then. I might do that. If you think the first half is solid, I'll take your advice on that because I trust that. I might check that out then. All right, that's pretty much all I had, guys. I just really wanted to dive in and talk. I had some other things that might have come up. We got, Star Wars grape. That's been talked to death. That happened. It is a thing. I don't even know if people are watching Andor. I tried watching it. They dropped 3 episodes of it on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? I tried sitting there. I tried watching it. Andor continues to be one of the most boringly paced series out there. It's the same thing with season 1. It was so boring for half the season. I gutted my way through it because I was bored out of my mind. I just wanted something to watch. So I'd sit down. I'm like, fuck it. I'll watch Andor and see what's up. And I was bored out of my mind on every single episode until about like episode 5 or something like that. And it started to actually kind of pick up. And I was like, okay, this is good. I'm getting into it. The second half of the season was solid. It was interesting enough to make me want to come back for the second season. And I sit down and they do the same boring, slow ass formula, pacing and everything with this season. And I'm just like, God, I don't want to do it. I stopped watching after the first episode. I had the second episode playing. I went and did something else. By the time I knew it, I came back and all 3 episodes had played. I didn't even watch the last 2. So I didn't even see the whole Star Wars grape issue that everyone's been freaking out about. And I honestly don't care, to be frank with you. I watched all 3. I want those minutes of my... All right. I'm not the only one then. I know Sean was really excited about it. He likes the series. A lot of people do, and that's fine. It's just there is something about the storytelling and the way they just slow burn every single episode. It makes me want to blow my brains out when I'm watching it. There's no entertainment factor to it whatsoever. I don't even think the acting is all that good. The story is so slow to develop that I'm not into it. Like, you need to pull me into the story in that first episode. Whether a series is really, really good or just okay, if the story gets you in right off the bat, then I'm going to keep on watching, And this was just like, you didn't give me anything in that first episode to make me want to watch episode 2, let alone episode 3. Or come back for episode 4. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to watch this season. Rick Saylor said, if the trailer sucks, why watch the movie? Just saying, if they can't land a 2-minute trailer, you think the movie's going to be good? No, most likely not. Yeah. Well, if you guys are watching out there, I'm not a hater. I'm usually a pretty positive guy. I just have opinions on stuff. And again, I want Predator to be good. I would love Andor to be good. I want Fantastic Four to be good, Superman to be good. I want it all to hit. I really do, because I'm a fan of these movies. I'm a fan of the franchises and the concepts. I want things to be good. I just look at some of this stuff and it worries me. I read an article like we just read from Screen Rant about the director talking about The Predator, and it makes me worry about what the movie's going to be like. So that's just me. I'm hoping it's all for nothing, and I'll see it and I'll be like, you know what? It was good. Solid movie. Let's keep going. But I got bad feelings. Matt's in the house. Says Badlands director cites Shane Conan Drax the Destroyer, Shadow of Colossus, etc. Once he said Conan and jump to my top anticipated movies. The actor is a big Simone and Wita is handling it. I don't know if I read that right. It's Conan straight up. So you're saying that Badlands is a Conan style of storytelling movie. I don't know if I caught that from the trailer. And the director can say all they want. That's fine. And maybe it will be, but I did not catch that from the trailer whatsoever. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it's good. I will let you guys know what I think when I see it. And I definitely will see it at some point. And I want you guys to know too. Like, come into chat after it comes out in November. Jump into the chat and be like, dude, I just saw Predator Badlands and it was badass. Joe, you were totally wrong. I'm all for that. Let's do that. Be sure to check us out tomorrow night, 9 p.m., the Spawn review. We are looking at Medieval Spawn, issue 1 that just came out on Wednesday. I'm halfway through reading it so far. Not too bad. But I always say that, and then we get to the show, and then mixed opinions. But that's what's great about the Spawn review. Everybody has a different opinion of those books, and sometimes it gets a little spicy. I'm sure we've turned a few people off, but I think we've also got a lot of people out there buying Spawn books, so I'm going to take credit for that. Thursday, Hot and Stuff, 8 p.m., we have Dan Chichester coming on. We're going to be talking about Daredevil Fall from Grace on that show, as well as he was one of the writers on that book, or he was the writer on that book. And then join me back here next Sunday at 8 p.m. I got to move the show to 8 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. just because the summer schedule is out right now with the family. And 8 p.m. just is working better on Sundays than 10 p.m. is. So we're going to switch it up at least for the summer, and then we'll see what goes on after that. So hopefully you guys can still join me next Sunday at 8 p.m. as we go forward with the Ronin Joe Show. He has to fight his brother, and his father banishes him. Okay. Design is okay. Could have been better. Yep, facts. Medieval Spawn looks dope. It's not too bad so far. Not too bad. It's written by Roy McConville, who was the guy that was writing Spawn there for a while before Todd McFarlane took over again. And I like this writer, so I have a feeling I'm gonna like this book. Art is okay, but it is what it is. But we'll dive into that tomorrow. Join us tomorrow at 9. Is there anything I gotta say before I get out of here? No, I think I covered it all. Reaper Destroyer, almost out. We're almost out. I think I've got 200 domestic orders that still have to go out, and then all the foreign orders still have to go out, but we're going to try to get those all out at the same time. So things are getting done because we want to move on. We got a Kickstarter coming up, and we have Reaper Destroyer issue 2 launching tentatively in July. So we're going to check that out as we go. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for joining me. Where is my outro? It's around here somewhere. All right, have a great night. Go to the Gooch's channel. I should probably set you guys up for that because they are streaming right now, doing their thing over there. This will be the last chance I can actually send you guys over to the Goochin gang, since I'll be moving to 8 o'clock on Sunday. So definitely get over there. Let them know if you stick around. There's the Ronin Joe raid, and you tell them that I sent you and give them a shout out for me. Let me see if I can find them real quick. I know they probably have a lot of stuff going on. I think this is the first time Jay has really streamed the Gooch and Friends since coming back from Las Vegas, which they seem to have a crazy time out there. Where's he at? Diabolical Souls. There he is. All right. You're all set up. Stay in the chat. I'll redirect you there. Thank you for joining me, guys. Appreciate it. The chat is great as always. Good conversation. I love the different opinions I have out there, or you guys have out there about the movies. And I love that we can just talk back and forth. share opinions, and still be friends at the end of the night. That's unique, you know? I like that. So be good to each other, take care of one another, and as always, picture me naked. I will talk to you all later. Peace. That is not supposed to be playing. Let me take that off the screen. I hit the wrong button. Let me do that again. Be good to each other. Take care of one another. And as always, picture me naked. Peace.